Oh, hi.
We're the fairies.
I'm Harmony.
And I'm Rhapsody.
But today, we're going to pretend to be somebody different. We're having a fairy tale day today, and we're going to act out a play of Sleeping Beauty.
Ooh.
Do you know the story of Sleeping Beauty? Well, keep watching and you'll learn all about it. But for now, we're calling all perfect princesses
And handsome princes. It's time to get up and get moving.
time to shake and shimmy and stretch from the tips of your toes to the top of your head.
Let's fly through the magical castle doors to Fairy Princess Minuet.
Fairy hello, and welcome to my Fairyland dance studio. For today's warm-up, we're going to wake up from an imaginary sleep, just like Sleeping Beauty. Can you curl yourself up and pretend to go to sleep? Can I hear some fairy snoring? To start our warm-up, we need to open our eyes and slowly sit up. Then, can we yawn for a big good morning stretch? Slowly roll up onto our knees. That's the way. And bend to one side. And then to the other side. Now, fairies, can you take a great big fairy circle to open out our shoulders and our chest? Now slowly, ever so slowly, stand up. Now you're going to need your balance, so you can hold a shoulder of a friend or an adult nearby. This is so that we can stretch our legs. Take one foot forward, hands on your knees, and gently bend. That's the way. Can we do it on the other leg as well? Very good, fairies. To finish off today, let's take a deep breath in and out. And I think we're awake and ready for a day of fun. Princess Perfect.
Sitting pretty nice, straight back, legs are crossed, hands in my lap. Turning on my listening ears, turning on my watching eyes, turning off my talking tongue. 3 claps and we're ready. Fairy 1, Fairy 2, Fairy 3.
The song of the day today is Princess Perfect. Let's start with a tiptoe around and bringing your hands up by your side. Now let's do a big shrug. That's the way. Then can you fix your hair on one side and then fix your hair on the other side? Very beautiful, fairies. Do you think we could step turn with our arms in fairy second? Are you ready? Step, turn, step, point. Very good. Now let's go the other way. Step, turn, step, point. Can you point to your pretty as can be faces and do 4 step togethers? Step together, step together, step together, step together. And what about our beautiful dancing feet? Step, point, step, point, step, point, step, point. Well, fairies, I think it's your turn to try the dance. Are you ready? Princess Perfect.
Just like Sleeping Beauty, I'm pretty as can be. Just like Sleeping Beauty, a special friend indeed. Just like Sleeping Beauty, always so happy. Just like Sleeping Beauty, just like me. Princess Perfect, who could it be? Princess Perfect, Princess Perfect, can't you see? Princess Perfect, Princess Perfect, it's me.
like Sleeping Beauty, just like me. Princess Perfect, who could it be? Princess Perfect, Princess Perfect, can't you see? Princess Perfect, Princess Perfect, it's me.
Oh, hello. It's time for our fairy tale. And today's fairy tale is one of my all-time favourites. It's called Sleeping Beauty. All of our fairyland friends are ready to act. Time to begin. Are you ready? I'm ready. Fairy 1, Fairy 2, Fairy Imagination. Oh. Once upon a time, a beautiful little baby girl was born to the king and queen of a faraway fairyland. Their baby girl was pretty and happy and never did anything wrong, so the king and queen called her Princess Perfect. When Princess Perfect was just 3 months old, the king and queen held a special party for their baby girl and invited 7 fairies to be her fairy godmothers. These 7 fairies each had a very special gift to give to their goddaughter.
Hello, Princess Perfect. I'm fairy number 1, and my special gift to you is to be as pretty as can be.
Oh, thank you, fairy number 1. Oh, what a generous gift to give.
Which one? Oh, yeah. Yo-ho, Princess Perfect. I'm fairy number 2, and my gift for you is to be a special friend. Everyone you meet will love you for being your best friend.
Oh, thank you, fairy number 2. What a perfect gift for our little princess.
Morning, Princess Perfect. Oh, have I got a present for you? I'm fairy number 3, and my very special gift for you is you'll always be happy as can be.
Oh, fairy number 3, what a happy gift to give.
No worries. Hello, Princess Perfect. I am fairy number 4. And I'm actually fairy number 5 as well. And we both love performing. So our special gifts for you are perfect dancing feet and a voice so sweet.
Oh, fairies 4 and 5, those gifts are perfectly princessy. Thank you so much.
One left. Hello, Princess Perfect, and my lovely queen. I am fairy number 6, and my special gift for your daughter is to always be very, very, very clever.
Oh, thank you, fairy number 6. That's a fan-fairy-tastic gift. Oh, but I did invite 7 fairies to the party. I wonder where fairy number 7 is.
The 7th fairy was called Fairy Twinklestar. Now, while Fairy Twinklestar was waiting to give the princess her gift, she saw a witch creep into the party. The king and queen had not invited the witch to the party because she wasn't a very nice witch at all. The little fairy had heard the witch muttering angrily that she should have been a fairy godmother too. Worried that the fairy godmother might do something horrid, Fairy Twinklestar waved her wand and made herself invisible so she could stay close by the horrid witch, just in case. And it was a good thing that she had. After the 6 fairy godmothers had given Princess Perfect their special gifts, the horrid old witch jumped out of her hiding place.
Actually, I wanted to be one of the fairy godmothers. And because you've made such a bad choice, I'm going to grant your child a gift. On her 16th birthday, she will prick her finger with a needle and fall down, never to wake up again.
Stop! That's a terrible thing to do, old witch. My magic isn't strong enough to fix that, but it can send you away, never to be heard of or seen again. Special magic fairy wand, I really need some help. Please send this witch away with a magic fairy spell.
And in a burst of fairy glitter, the Wicked Witch disappeared, her cackling never to be heard again. Although the King and Queen and all of the guests were pleased that the Wicked Witch was gone, they were so very, very upset at the horrid gift she had given to their Princess Perfect.
Oh, what are we going to do?
Well, I can't stop the nastiness completely, but I can lessen the blow. If Princess Perfect pricks her finger, she will fall into a deep, 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 deep sleep. And one day, her Prince Charming will come along, see her, and fall instantly in love with her. And when he gives her a little kiss on the cheek, she will wake up and they will live happily forevermore.
Princess Perfect was never told about the horrid gift the Wicked Witch had given her. But her mummy and daddy, the King and Queen, were very careful to make sure there were no needles or pins anywhere in the castle. Except, of course, in the sewing room. This was a room where the clever fairies inside made beautiful clothes for the King, the Queen, and the Princess.
Hi, I am Princess Perfect and today is my 16th birthday.
The birthday girl was skipping through the castle when she came across the sewing room and, rather surprised by her discovery, knocked lightly on the door, then gently opened it to look inside. Oh dear, I guess you can guess what happened next. Princess Perfect saw the beautiful dresses that the fairies were making and really wanted to try to sew herself. But the minute that she picked up a needle, she pricked her finger.
Ouch!
And the Wicked Witch's curse came true. Princess Perfect fell into a deep, deep sleep, and not even the fairies could wake her up. The King and Queen were so very, very sad, and they gently carried her to her pretty princess bedroom and laid her on the bed. They cried so much that when the 7 fairy godmothers came to visit, the fairies decided the very best thing to do was to make the whole kingdom fall asleep until Princess Perfect's Prince Charming came along. And the 7 fairy godmothers waved their wands together, and in a burst of fairy dust, everyone in the kingdom fell asleep. Even the chickens in the yard, the puppies playing in a basket, and the horses in the stable. All of the people and animals started snoring softly. A long time passed until one day a handsome prince was riding his beautiful horse past the gates of the kingdom. He decided to visit the King and Queen and ask if he may have a glass of water, because he was very thirsty.
Whoa! Periwinkle Prince Pie! Nobody here seems to be awake. Hello? Anybody here? Anybody awake? It's nearly afternoon.
To his surprise, he found everyone in the land of sleepy dreams.
Oh, my sleeping beauty! Never have I seen such a sight. I must kiss your delicate Princess Perfect cheek.
The handsome prince whispered as he leant over and gently kissed Princess Perfect on the cheek. And with that one little special kiss, the Wicked Witch's horrid spell was broken, and Princess Perfect slowly opened her eyes and smiled at the handsome prince. The prince and princess were married that very same day and lived happily ever after. The end.
Just like Sleeping Beauty, I'm pretty as can be. Just like Sleeping Beauty, a special friend indeed. Just like Sleeping Beauty, always so happy. Just like Sleeping Beauty, just like me. Princess Perfect, who could it be? Princess Perfect, Princess Perfect, can't you see? Princess Perfect, Princess Perfect, it's me.
like Sleeping Beauty. I've perfect dancing feet. Just like Sleeping Beauty. A singing voice so sweet. Just like Sleeping Beauty. I'm clever as can be. Just like Sleeping Beauty. Just like me. Princess Perfect. Who could it be? Princess Perfect. Princess Perfect. Can't you see? Princess Perfect. Princess Perfect. It's me.
Oh, hello. We're the fairies. But today, I'm going to be an ugly stepsister.
Oh, and I'm going to be another ugly stepsister. I wonder if you can guess what fairy tale we're going to act out today.
Perhaps if I tell the girls and boys that I'm going to be a fairy godmother, they'd guess it was Cinderella.
Oh, Barnaby.
Sorry.
I'm going to be the storyteller for this fairy tale.
Yes, but we're going to tell the story a little bit later in Fairy Imagination. Minuet's going to play Cinderella. And who better to play the handsome prince than our gorgeous dancing jitterboy Jethro?
Oh, it's going to be so much fun performing in the Cinderella fairy tale today.
I love the song as well. Let's do it now.
Cinderella, she was special. Oh, she really was a very lovely girl. But her family, they were horrid. They didn't treat Cinderella very well. Her stepsisters and their mother used to make Cinderella work all day, do their washing, scrub the floors. She never had any time to play. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella was always happy. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella always smiled. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella never complaining. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella a lovely child. Cinderella had a fairy godmother who decided she should go to the ball. With a wave of her magic fairy wand, she became the most beautiful of all. Cinderella met her prince there, and they soon fell in love as they danced. But the clock struck and Cinderella ran. It seemed she'd lost her only chance. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella was always happy. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella always smiled. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella never complaining. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella a lovely child. The prince found a glass slipper and went to visit every girl in the land. Her stepsisters tried the slipper, but he shook his head, so very, very sad. Cinderella, she was hiding, called out, "Please, can I try the slipper too?" The slipper fit, they fell in love again, and were married that same day, yes, it's true. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella was always happy. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella always smiled. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella never complaining. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella a lovely child.
Ugly stepsisters are really mean. I've been practicing being mean. Me too. But it's not easy when you're a fairy.
Well, why don't we find out the time on the Fairyland clickety clock? Come on, why don't you sing with us? Fairyland clickety clock, we need to know the time. Please show yourself in Fairyland and let us hear you chime. Tick tock, clickety clock, tick tock, clickety clock, tick tock, clickety clock, chime.
Hello, Fairyland. It's a fan-fairy-tastic day. My big hand is pointing straight up, so it's something o'clock. And my little hand is pointing to the 11, so it must be tick-tock, clickety-clock, 11 o'clock on the Fairyland clock. Fairy goodbye.
Minuet should be here any second for our fairy tale.
Hello, fairies.
Oh, hi, Minuet. Oh, you look different.
I'm Cinderella before she went to the ball.
Well, now we just need Jethro and Barnaby.
We're ready, fairies!
Oh, fan-fairy-tastic. Over to you, Wizzy.
Hello. Welcome to Fairy Imagination. I'm your special storyteller. I'm so excited. Are you ready? I am. Fairy 1, Fairy 2, Fairy Imagination. Once upon a time, there was a young girl and her name was Cinderella. Cinderella was very special. She was always happy, she always smiled, and she never complained, even though her family were really horrid. Cinderella lived with her 2 nasty stepsisters and her stepmother. None of them treated her very well at all. In fact, every day they made Cinderella do all of their chores as well as their own.
Cinderella, my room isn't perfect. There's a spot of dust. Clean it again.
Cinderella, my clothes aren't ironed perfectly. Do them all again.
Cinderella, down on your knees and scrub the floors. They need to be gleaming.
One day, the handsome prince of the kingdom announced he was going to hold a dance. He wanted all of the young women of the land to attend so that he could try and find his true love.
Oh, it's so exciting. Going to a ball organised by Prince Jethro himself. Cinderella, quick! Find me the perfect gown to wear.
Oh, do you think he'll fall in love with you or me, sister? One of us is bound to come home as a princess. Cinderella! Oh, just think, Cinderella. You could end up having a much better life. You could end up cleaning a palace.
Sisters, the invitation says to all the young women in the land. Can I go to the ball as well?
You're right, Cinderella. It does say the young women in the land, not the servants. No, you'll stay here and clean the floor.
As if you could go to the ball. Just look at your dress. It's just a rag. No way, princess. But you can stay here and make sure that our clothes are perfect.
Now!
Oh, Minuet, are you okay?
Rhapsody, it's okay. We're acting.
Oh!
Cinderella was sad and sighed, but helped her nasty stepsisters as they dressed in their finery. At last they left, and Cinderella, unable to be happy anymore, sat down and cried. The tears running down her face, she really had wanted to go to the ball. Suddenly, in a burst of magic sparkly dust, a fairy appeared in front of Cinderella.
Hello, who are you?
I'm Barnaby. I'm Blossomy, your fairy godmother. Harmony lent me her wand. Oh, I've
always wanted to use a fairy's wand. Now the apprentice has become the master. Oh, I've been watching over you since you were born. Though it's been very difficult, you've turned out to be a special young lady. Happy, always smiling, and never complaining. So for that, you shall be rewarded. Cinderella, you shall go to the ball.
Cinderella closed her eyes for just a moment, and when she opened them again and looked down, she gasped in pure joy. Gone was her dress made of rags, gone was her apron. Gone were her old canvas shoes, and in their place was the most beautiful creamy silk dress with peach-coloured roses and the daintiest, prettiest glass slippers she had ever seen.
Oh, Blossomy, I can't thank you enough. Oh, I'm so grateful, and you are just so wonderful.
I know, but the magic will wear off at midnight, so make sure you leave before the clock strikes 12.
Thank you, Fairy Godmother.
Go, my child.
Cinderella arrived at the ball, and as she stepped from the coach, the first person she saw was the handsome Prince Jethro. Falling to one knee, he took Cinderella's hand in his and gently brought it to his lips.
Please, will you have this dance with me?
And Cinderella and Prince Jethro danced and danced and danced. They were so entranced with each other, they didn't stop dancing all night. Until suddenly Cinderella realised that she could hear the chiming of a clock. She glanced quickly at the clock on the wall and cried out.
Oh my goodness, the bells are chiming midnight. I must go now.
And she ran out of the ballroom, down the big flight of stairs, and disappeared into the night. All that the handsome prince could find of his love was one of her tiny, delicate glass slippers. Tomorrow, he vowed, he would visit every girl in the entire land until he found the one whose foot fit the glass slipper. The next day, Cinderella was so excited remembering about the perfect night with Prince Jethro that she could not stop smiling. Suddenly, she heard a voice that she would always remember.
A very good morning to you, ladies. I'm here to try this glass slipper on the feet of every young lady in the land until my true love is revealed.
Well, of course it's going to fit me, Prince Jethro. Actually, sister, I think it's meant for me. There's no way it's going to fit you. Okay. Oh. Well, clearly, it doesn't fit. Let me try.
The prince was sad as he rose to leave, but on hearing the door squeak, he turned and saw a young lady dressed in rags, but still oh so beautiful. His heart started racing as he dropped on one knee in front of the girl. As Cinderella's foot slipped perfectly into the slipper, he met her eyes, took her hand in his, and gently kissed her. And she and her handsome Prince Jethro were married that very same day. And of course, they all lived happily ever after.
Today's song is all about a beautiful girl who found a handsome prince, even though her ugly stepsisters and wicked mother tried very hard to keep her away from him. The song Cinderella tells us the whole story, and so does our dance. Let's start by hopping forwards and backwards as we swing our arms. That's the way, fairies. Now, can we do the same action, but this time pretend we're Cinderella, sweeping the floor. Now, let's fly like the fairy godmother. Wave your magic wand. Curtsy like Cinderella would at a ball. And bow like the prince. Well done today, fairies. Are you ready to dance, Cinderella? Princess Perfect.
Cinderella, she was special. Oh, she really was a very lovely girl. But her family, they were horrid. They didn't treat Cinderella very well. Her stepsisters and their mother used to make Cinderella work all day, do their washing, scrub the floors. She never had any time to play. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella was always happy. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella always smiled. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella never complaining. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella a lovely child. Cinderella had a fairy godmother who decided she should go to the ball. With a wave of her magic fairy wand, she became the most beautiful of all. Cinderella met her prince there, and they soon fell in love as they danced. But the clock struck and Cinderella ran. It seemed she'd lost her only chance. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella was always happy. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella always smiled. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella never complaining. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella a lovely child. The prince found a glass slipper and went to visit every girl in the land. Her stepsisters tried the slipper, but he shook his head, so very, very sad. Cinderella, she was hiding, called out, "Please, can I try the slipper too?" The slipper fit, they fell in love again, and were married that same day, yes, it's true. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella was always happy. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella always smiled. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella never complaining. Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella a lovely child.
Rhapsody and I are going to tell a story about a little girl who lived in a forest. Her name was Little Red Riding Hood.
She was a lovely little girl who skipped through the woods to visit her granny. But one day she met a hairy wolf.
But we're not going to tell the whole story just yet.
Today's song is called Little Red Riding Hood. The words in the song tell us exactly what to do. Are you ready? Little Red Riding Hood skips through the woods. Little Red Riding Hood meets a hairy wolf. Little Red Riding Hood knocks on the door to find that nobody was home. Little Red Riding Hood looks in the bed. Was it Granny or someone else? Who was it in the bed? You're doing very well, fairies. Now, can you show me your great big eyes? And your great big ears? And your huge, long teeth. Well done. Now for the fun part. We're going to do a pretend scream. Are you ready? Well done, fairies. Now to finish off, let's wave goodbye to the wolf. And now you're ready to dance Little Red Riding Hood. Princess Perfect.
Little Red Riding Hood skipped through the woods, skipped through the woods, skipped through the woods. Little Red Riding Hood skipped through the woods with a skippity skippity skip, skip, skippity skippity skip, with a skippity skippity skip, skip, skippity skippity skip. Little Red Riding Hood met a hairy wolf, met a hairy wolf, met a hairy wolf. Little Red Riding Hood met a hairy wolf, and she stops to say hello, hello. She stops to say hello. She stops to say hello, hello. She stops to say hello. Who are you going to see, Red Riding Hood? I'm going to see my granny. And where does your granny live, Red Riding Hood? Along the path in the woods. Would you like to walk with me, Red Riding Hood? No thanks, she said with a smile. Little Red Riding Hood knocked on the door, knocked on the door, knocked on the door. Little Red Riding Hood knocked on the door. She found nobody was home, not home. Nobody was at home. She found nobody was home, not home. Nobody was at home. Little Red Riding Hood looked in the bed, looked in the bed, looked in the bed. Little Red Riding Hood looked in the bed. Was it Granny or someone else? Oh dear, who was it in the bed? Was it Granny or someone else? Oh dear, who was it in the bed? Oh Granny, what great big eyes you have.
All the better to see you with.
Oh Granny, what great big ears you have.
All the better to hear you with.
Oh Granny, what great long teeth you have.
All the better to eat you with.
Little Red Riding Hood held up her hands, held up her hands, held up her hands. Little Red Riding Hood held up her hands. Said, stop and leave right now. I said, stop and leave right now. Stop and leave right now, right now. Stop and leave right now. Little Red Riding Hood waved goodbye to the wolf, goodbye to the wolf, goodbye to the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood waved goodbye to the wolf, and he bowed and ran away. Away, he bowed and ran away. He bowed and ran away. Away, he bowed and ran away. Goodbye.
Hello! I'm Barnaby the Buzzy Bee. But of course, you already knew that. Today is a very special day in Fairyland because I get to be the storyteller. Are you ready? Fairy 1, Fairy 2, Fairy Imagination. I'm looking forward to this. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a pretty little cottage near a big wood full of trees and ferns and flowers. When winter came along, the little girl's mummy gave her a special present. A very, very beautiful red cape with a cosy hood to keep her warm whenever she went exploring. The little girl wore this pretty cape everywhere she went, and soon everyone she knew called her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood asked her mummy if she could go and visit her granny, who lived in a cottage through the woods.
May I please go and visit Granny today?
That's a great idea,
said her mummy, and packed a basket full of goodies for her granny. The little girl gave her mummy a big hug and a kiss. As she left, she said,
I love you, Mummy.
I love you more. Now remember, straight to Grandma's house. Don't stop to talk to the animals along the way.
Okay. Bye, Mum.
Little Red Riding Hood skipped through the woods with a skippity, skippity, skip, skip. But it was such a beautiful day, she forgot her promise to her mummy and stopped to watch a butterfly flittering and fluttering. She said,
Good morning, butterfly. Good morning, flowers.
She bounced just like two little rabbits playing underneath the tree. It really was a special day. Until she came across an animal she'd never met before.
Oh, hello. I'm Little Red Riding Hood,
she said to the hairy wolf.
Hello, yourself,
said the hairy wolf.
Who are you going to see on this lovely day, Little Red Riding Hood?
I'm off to see my granny. She lives along the path in the woods.
Would you like to walk with me?
Said the hairy wolf. But at that moment, Little Red Riding Hood remembered her promise to her mummy and said to the wolf,
No thanks.
and kept on skipping down the path with a skippity, skippity, skip, skip. Little Red Riding Hood arrived at her granny's cottage and knocked on the door with a knockety, knockety, knock, knock. But her granny didn't answer the door. Little Red Riding Hood didn't know that the hairy wolf had taken a shortcut and run as fast as he could through the wood so he could reach Granny's house first. The hairy wolf arrived at Granny's house and decided to shut her granny in the bathroom, dressed in her frilly nightie and sleep hat, and then jumped into Granny's bed, pulling the covers up right under his chin. Finding the door open, Little Red Riding Hood skipped inside to leave the basket of goodies on her granny's kitchen table. But when she was in the kitchen, she heard a noise from Granny's bedroom.
Yoo-hoo! Granny, is anyone home?
She called out, and opening the bedroom door, saw Granny lying in her bed. Or was it someone else? The person in the bed was wearing Granny's frilly nightie, but didn't look very much like Granny at all. Little Red Riding Hood was confused.
Granny, what great big eyes you have,
said the little girl.
All the better to see you with, my dear,
replied the person in the bed. But the person in the bed still didn't look like Granny.
Granny, what great big ears you have,
said Little Red Riding Hood.
All the better to hear you with, my dear,
growled the person in the bed. But the person in the bed still didn't look like Granny.
Granny, what great big teeth you have,
said Little Red Riding Hood, feeling a bit scared when she saw just how big the person's teeth were.
All the better to eat you with,
replied the person. Little Red Riding Hood suddenly saw that it wasn't Granny in the bed. It was the hairy wolf that she had met along the path. Now, since she was a very little girl, her mummy had always taught her that if she felt scared or if someone wasn't being very nice, she should put up her hands and say, "Stop! I don't like that." Straight away, Little Red Riding Hood held up both of her hands in front of the hairy wolf and said,
"Stop! I don't like that. Please leave right now. I said, please leave right now."
The hairy wolf was sorry that he had scared Little Red Riding Hood. He took off Granny's night clothes, opened the bathroom door to let Granny out, then he bowed at Granny and Little Red Riding Hood, waved goodbye, and ran out the door and into the woods. Granny and Little Red Riding Hood looked at each other and started to giggle. The hairy wolf really had looked very, very funny in Granny's frilly nightie. And after Little Red Riding Hood had eaten 3 of Granny's extra specially yummy chocolate chip cookies and a big mug of hot chocolate, Granny walked all the way home with Little Red Riding Hood, just in case she came across any more hairy wolves. And of course, they lived happily ever after. The end.
Little Red Riding Hood skipped through the woods, skipped through the woods, skipped through the woods. Little Red Riding Hood skipped through the woods with a skippity skippity skip, skip, skippity skippity skip, with a skippity skippity skip, skip, skippity skippity skip. Little Red Riding Hood met a hairy wolf, met a hairy wolf, met a hairy wolf. Little Red Riding Hood met a hairy wolf, and she stopped to say hello, hello. She stopped to say hello. She stopped to say hello, hello. She stopped to say hello. Who are you going to see, Red Riding Hood? I'm going to see my granny. And where does your granny live, Red Riding Hood? Along the path in the woods. Would you like to walk with me, Red Riding Hood? No thanks, she said with a smile. Ah, ah, ah. Little Red Riding on the door, knocked on the door, knocked on the door. Little Red Riding Hood knocked on the door. She found nobody was home, not home. Nobody was at home. She found nobody was home, not home. Nobody was at home. Little Red Riding Hood looked in the bed, looked in the bed, looked in the bed. Little Red Riding Hood looked in the bed. Was it Granny or someone else? Oh dear, who was it in the bed? Was it Granny or someone else? Oh dear, who was it in the bed? Oh Granny, what great big eyes you have.
All the better to see you with.
Oh Granny, what great big ears you have.
All the better to hear you with.
Oh Granny, what great long teeth you have.
All the better to eat you with.
Ah! Little Red Riding Hood held up her hands, held up her hands, held up her hands. Little Red Riding Hood held up her hands, said, stop and leave right now. I said, stop and leave right now. Stop and leave right now, right now. Stop and leave right now. Little Red Riding Hood waved goodbye to the wolf, goodbye to the wolf, goodbye to the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood waved goodbye to the wolf, and he bowed and ran away. Away, he bowed and ran away. He bowed and ran away. Away, he bowed and ran away. Goodbye.
Today's song is all about a little girl called Goldilocks. Now, can you show me your sneakiest tiptoe, just like Goldilocks? Well done, fairies. Now, there's lots of acting in Goldilocks, so can you pretend to be afraid in the woods? As you search for a house? And can you knock, call, and skip? Now in the chorus, we tilt our heads, we bounce our shoulders, and we shake our pointer finger. We find some yummy food. So we just need to take a bite. Then we yawn and stretch, and we have sleepy dreams. We boo as Papa Bear, we boo as Mama Bear, and we boo as Baby Bear too. Princess Perfect.
Goldilocks, Goldilocks, so pretty. Goldilocks, 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 so pretty. Goldilocks, 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 so pretty. Goldilocks, oh, she loved to explore. Goldilocks went for a walk one day in the woods next to her home. She shouldn't have skipped right through the woods. She was soon lost and alone. At the end of the path she found a home, a cottage that looked just fine. So she knocked and she called, but no one came. So she skipped on right inside. Ooh, ah, Goldilocks, she shouldn't have gone 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 inside.
First she found some yummy food, so she had to have a bite. The first too hot, the second too cold, the third was oh just right. After eating she needed a rest, 3 chairs for her to try. The first and the second chairs weren't so good, the third was oh just right.
Ooh, ah, Goldilocks, she shouldn't have gone inside. 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 Finally, sleepy dream time came. She skipped up to find a bed. The first so hard, the second so soft. On the third she lay her head. She slept in the land wide. They didn't know what they would find when they tiptoed inside. Boo, said the Papa Bear loud and gruff. Boo, said Mama Bear too. And boo, said the Baby Bear. Boo, boo, it's time for you to shoo. Ooh, ah, Goldilocks, she shouldn't have gone inside. 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 With a hop, skip and jump, she was out of bed and raced right down the stairs. Out the door, through the forest trees, away from those three bears. Goldilocks, Goldilocks, so pretty. Goldilocks, 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 so pretty. Goldilocks, 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 so pretty. Goldilocks, oh, she loved to explore.
Ooh. It's Fairy Imagination time. Are you ready? I'm ready. Fairy 1, Fairy 2, Fairy Imagination. Ooh. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a home near a wood. She was a pretty little girl with long golden curls, and her mummy and daddy called her Goldilocks. Goldilocks was clever and happy and had beautiful manners, but there was something about her that always seemed to get her into trouble. Goldilocks loved to explore. Goldilocks would explore the fields all around her home. She would explore the apple orchard. She would explore the paths all around the rose garden. But she had never explored the woods. Until one day, she kept on skipping through the long wavy grass until she suddenly found herself skipping through tall trees that seemed to be saying, swishy swashy, swishy swashy. The path kept on winding around and about until Goldilocks felt quite tired and very hungry. As if the forest fairies had read her mind, suddenly she came to a pretty little brown cottage made of timber, with a brightly coloured happy door that seemed to be saying, welcome, come inside. Goldilocks knocked on the door and called out as loudly as possible,
Hello? Is anybody home?
But nobody answered. Now, if Goldilocks had been thinking about the most sensible thing to do, she would have turned around and skipped back home. But Goldilocks didn't feel very sensible. She just wanted to explore. Turning the door handle, Goldilocks opened the front door and tiptoed inside the little cottage, and suddenly realised there was a very yummy smell in the cottage. Food! Porridge, in fact. And on the kitchen table were 3 bowls of porridge. A great big bowl, a medium-sized bowl, and a tiny little bowl. Goldilocks' tummy was grumbling, and she took a step towards the table.
No one will mind if I have just a little taste.
First of all, she tried porridge from the great big bowl, but it was really, really hot. Then she tried porridge from the middle-sized bowl, but it was really, really cold. Finally, she put her spoon into the tiny little bowl, and when she tasted the porridge, she smiled in delight. It was very yummy and just right. And before she knew it, Goldilocks had eaten up the whole bowl. Feeling much better now that she had some food in her tummy, Goldilocks saw that there were 3 chairs sitting in the living room. She twirled over to the chairs and curtsied and danced in front of the chairs as if they had real people sitting in them, and she was a famous fairy dancing girl. The 3 chairs were different sizes, and Goldilocks just wanted to have a little sit in each chair. First of all, she tried the great big chair, but it was really, really big and very hard. Then she tried the middle-sized chair, but it was really, really soft and squishy, not very nice to sit in. Finally, she sat down on the baby-sized chair, and Goldilocks smiled in delight. It was comfy and cuddly and just right. So Goldilocks sat and sat and sat until suddenly she saw a little door at the edge of the lounge room. The little girl skipped over to the wooden door and gently knocked. But nobody answered. She called out in her pretty sing-song voice,
Is anybody here?
but still nobody answered. So turning the handle, she peeked around the door to see what lay behind it. It was a funny little bedroom with 3 beds. A great big bed, a middle-sized bed, and a baby bed. Suddenly, as she looked at the 3 pretty beds, Goldilocks felt very sleepy. She twirled across to the first bed and lay down. But the bed was really, really hard. She skipped over to the second bed with a dainty little yawn and stretch. But when she lay down, it was really, really soft. Finally, Goldilocks snuggled down into the baby-sized bed and gave a pretty little smile. It was warm and snuggly and just right. And Goldilocks closed her eyes and was soon in the land of sleepy dreams. Not long after Goldilocks fell into the land of sleepy dreams, the owners of the cottage, a great big papa bear, a middle-sized mama bear, and a tiny little baby bear, came back from their walk in the woods. They walked inside, and Papa Bear said,
We've had guests. Somebody's been eating my hot bowl of porridge.
Mama Bear said in a gentle voice,
Someone has been eating the middle-sized cold porridge.
Baby Bear said in a very little voice,
Somebody's been eating my porridge and they've eaten it all up.
With a cuddle from Mama Bear,
you, darling.
Baby Bear skipped over to the chairs in the little lounge room. Oh, Papa Bear, I think our guest came into the lounge room too.
Someone's been sitting in my really, really hard chair,
said Papa Bear.
Oh, and someone's been sitting in my soft, squishy chair,
said Mama Bear.
And somebody's been sitting in my cuddly chair and they've messed up the cushions,
said Baby Bear with a sad little voice. With a cuddle from Papa Bear, Baby Bear was very brave and had just started to smile again when he heard a little snore coming from the bedroom. He looked at the bedroom door.
Papa Bear, do you think that we have a guest in our bedroom?
Papa Bear quietly opened the bedroom door and went inside.
Someone's been sleeping in my really, really hard bed,
said Papa Bear. Mama Bear came into the bedroom too.
And someone has been sleeping in my really, really soft bed,
said Mama Bear.
And someone's been sleeping in my bed and she still is.
There she is.
As Baby Bear giggled, Goldilocks woke up. And as she gave a little stretch and a yawn, she opened her eyes to see a great big bear, a middle-sized bear, and a tiny baby bear all looking down at her. With a little scream, she bounced out of bed and gave a little curtsy goodbye, then twirled through the door of the bedroom, through the door of the lounge room, and through the front door of the cottage, with the 3 bears laughing loudly behind. Finally, Goldilocks did the most sensible thing to do and ran as fast as her legs would run, down the forest path, through the big tall trees that seemed to be saying swishy swashy, swishy swashy, past the long wavy grass until she saw her own little cottage with its white picket fence. And she skipped inside straight into her mummy's cuddle, and she decided that she would never walk in the woods on her own again. The end.
Goldilocks, Goldilocks, so pretty. Goldilocks, 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 so pretty. Goldilocks, 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 so pretty. Goldilocks, oh, she loved to explore.
Goldilocks went for a walk one day in the woods next to her home. She shouldn't have skipped right through the woods. She was soon lost and alone. At the end of the path she found a home, a cottage that looked just fine. So she knocked and she called but no one came, so she skipped on right inside.
Ooh, ah, Goldilocks, she shouldn't have gone inside. Ooh, ah, Goldilocks, she shouldn't have gone inside. Ooh, ah, Goldilocks, she shouldn't have gone inside. Ooh, ah, Goldilocks, she shouldn't have gone inside. First she found some yummy food, so she had to have a bite. The first too hot, the second too cold, the third was oh just right. After eating she needed a rest, 3 chairs for her to try. The first and the second chairs weren't so good, the third was oh just right. Ooh, ah, Goldilocks, she shouldn't have gone inside. Ooh, ah, Goldilocks, she shouldn't have gone inside. Ooh, ah, Goldilocks,
inside. Ooh, ah, Goldilocks, she shouldn't have gone inside. Finally, sleepy dream time came. She skipped up to find a bed. The first so hard, the second so soft. On the third, she lay her head. She slept in the land of sleepy dreams. She slept in the land of sleepy dreams. Guess who came skipping home right then? Their door was open wide. They didn't know what they would find when they tiptoed inside. Boo, said the Papa Bear loud and gruff. Boo, said Mama Bear too. And boo, said the Baby Bear. Boo, boo, it's time for you to shoo. Ooh, ah, Goldilocks, she shouldn't have gone inside. 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 With a hop, skip and jump, she was out of bed and raced right down the stairs. Out the door, through the forest trees, away from those three bears. Goldilocks, Goldilocks, so pretty. Goldilocks, 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 so pretty. Goldilocks, 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 so pretty. Goldilocks, oh, she loved to explore.
We've had so much fun acting out Goldilocks today.
In fact, there's only one word to describe this Goldilocks day.
Fan-fairy-tastic! But now it's time for us to go. So, from everyone in Fairyland, fairy goodbye!
Goodbye to all our friends, it's sad that we must go. We've had a lovely time today, had some funny laughs today, made some special friends today, and now we have to go. With a harmony wave and a harmony wiggle, a harmony kiss and a harmony giggle, a big goodbye from harmony, now I have to go. With a rhapsody wave and a rhapsody wiggle, a rhapsody kiss and a rhapsody giggle, a big goodbye from Rhapsody, now I have to go. With a fairy wave and a fairy wiggle, a fairy kiss and a fairy giggle, a big goodbye from all of us, now we have to go. Now we have to go.
How to be a fan-fairy-tastic friend. Fairy friendship rule number 1 is to love your friends just the way they are. Fairy friendship rule number 2 is to be happy, giggly and positive. Fairy friendship rule number 3 is sharing. Sharing is for caring friends. Fairy friendship rule number 4 is a hug a day and your friends will stay. And fairy friendship rule number 5 is to say sorry if you make mistakes and forgive your friends if they make mistakes. Fairy goodbye.